Today's video is setting up to record yourself from home. In today's video, we are going to be going through a lot of the touch screens on the MixPre 3 and how to navigate. We'll also be talking about how to connect a microphone and use your SD card. So let's start with that, where your SD card goes in the back right there. This is what an SD card looks like. We're going to take it with the logo facing this way. So you're going to put it with the logo facing up towards the device, and we'll go in and it's going to click into place. Now that we have that in there, we'll turn the MixPre on. Now we're going to talk about how to connect your microphone. You'll need an XLR cable, and you're going to take the ones with the prongs and connect them into number 1. That number 1 coordinates with the one on the front with the knob. You'll notice on the side that the MixPre 3 is powered through USB-C. And in systems, when you're recording directly into the MixPre 3, it's on power only. But if you're using your MixPre 3 as an interface, it'll be power and audio. Once your microphone is connected, you'll want to turn that knob to 12 o'clock if you think of the dial as a face on a clock. When you speak into the microphone, you should see the levels moving, and a green ring around the knob should light up. So what we want to do is we're going to format this SD card because that's really important. We click on the 3 lines. So we're going to press on the menu button. See the 3 dots? That means there are 3 pages. We'll click over 1 page, and you'll see SD card right here. You'll want to press edit, and you'll say format SD card. Are you sure? The reason I ask this question is because if you have information on that SD card that is not backed up anywhere else, it will get deleted. So please, 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 please back up anything on your SD card before you reformat, because it will delete it. Like it says, all data will be erased. Are you sure? And we say, okay. And then it says it was successful when we press OK. So now we go back and we're going to press back again, and then we'll go to the first page. Now that the SD card is done, we need to go to System because we want to make sure that we're in basic mode. And to get to the Systems page, you are going to press Menu to the 3rd page, so the last dot, and then System will be on the left side. We're going to go into basic mode because you don't have to make as many decisions about your setup. For example, it'll choose 48 as the sample rate and 24 as the bit rate. With advanced and custom, you have a lot more options, and we'll get into that in another video. On the first page, we're going to press input because we want to set up the input for your microphone. So if we press setup, it's going to say press in on the gain knob to enter select channel screens. This will allow access to input, phantom power, low cut, and some other things. All right, so you're going to press the gain knob, number 1, right here. You're going to see pan and it's centered, so when you press it, you can scroll to the right or to the left to do left or right pan, but for at-home recording use, we want to have it on center. For input, you have a lot of choices like line or aux, all those things, but we want to be on mic. All right, so we also have phantom power here. Most of you have a beta 87, and this requires phantom power, so make sure that says 48 volts. And you can either have low cut on or off. We prefer it to be off because the engineers like to choose where that low cut filter goes, unless you're in a particularly noisy environment and you find the low cut filter helps. So if we go back to home, let's navigate over to the date and time setting because that's also important. So we're going to click the menu to go over another page and click over again. And we're going to go to System. And notice that there's 3 pages for System as well. So we're going to click over one, and you see that this is date and time. So we're going to click on date and time. So the date today is not October 26, 2013. So you see the little orange box around October, and there's a knob on the right side that you can twist, and it moves, and it can also press in. If you move that knob to October and press the button, it will highlight it in blue. And you can change that to March. The orange box will then move over to the day, and you'll click on that and highlight it, and you go to the 15th. And then you press the button again. And then it will move over to the year, and you can change the year. And then you press set on the touchscreen, and then it goes back. So then we'll change the time. The current time is 3:15, and you'll want to use the knob on the side again like you did with the date. And we're going to click in here, and it's in military time, which we can change. I'll show you how to do that. If you want the time to be accurate, you'll want to choose GMT -7 or 8 for LA, -5 or 6 for Minnesota, or -4 or 5 for the East Coast bureaus. The reason depends on if we're in daylight savings time or not. Also, when it comes to setting the time, this is in military time because I prefer military time. But if you press format, you can change it to a 12-hour format as opposed to a 24-hour format. All right, now we're going to talk about presets and project folders. Now that we've done all that setup, we're going to go and save it as a preset. So if you click on the 3 lines again, you'll see preset on the first page. We're going to save it to SD card on the second page. And since we only have one microphone connected, we're just going to call this mono mic. Once you have your naming set, you're going to press OK in the bottom left hand corner. Now we're going to load our preset, and you're going to press back. And then you're going to go back to presets, and you're going to press load preset. You can see that it says mono mic and SD for SD card. And you're going to say load from SD, and you're going to press OK. When creating a preset, you can either save to NTL 1 through 4, which means internal, which saves internally to the mix pre, or you can save it to a separate SD card that you don't use for recording audio. And lastly, you could save it to your desktop, which we'll go over in a different video. Let's go back. Something else you can do is if you have multiple projects going on, you can create project folders. If you want a new project, you can either do a custom name or current date, whichever helps you the most. If you press custom, you can write the name, choose whatever you want. Whatever will help you remember that interview the best. So if you want to do a name of the person, you could type Bob. You press OK, you can open up the folder. All right, to navigate to the projects folder, you're going to press the 3 lines again, and then you're going to press project, and then you're going to open the folder by pressing the knob on the right side. We're going to touch on timecode briefly because you'll want to know how to disable timecode since we are not working with video. So if you're on the first page of the menu, you'll see timecode in the bottom right-hand corner. Once you're on the timecode page, you'll choose TC mode, and in that mode, you'll choose off. The reason you'll want to choose off because when you go to the home page to see your levels, when you press record, you'll see the actual time that you've been recording, and then in the bottom, you'll see the amount of time that's on your SD card versus the total capacity of the SD card. The cool thing about turning timecode off is that your files will now be timestamped with the date and time that you recorded them, which will help you with any sort of organizational process. If you press the button that has a big Q on it, that will give you a marker for any sort of important piece of audio. When you're at the main menu, on the third page, there is something that says power, and that's important for when you do batteries. If you refer to my last video, if you're using lithium batteries, which is what you should be using, you'll choose L mount from these options. In the next episode, we'll be talking about more advanced and custom settings and how to use it as an audio interface connected to your computer. Thanks everyone, and we'll see you again.